Good evening, everyone, and welcome along to League of Europe. We are here tonight for F1 22 action. It is Season 8, Division 1, Round 15 on the Championship, the third and final round, goodness me, the third last round of the Championship as we take in the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, of course, from the Jeddah Corniche circuit. My name is James Head. I'm going to be taking you to the stream, as always, of course, on this fine Saturday night, and joining me in the commentary, A, not only is he back, but B, he finished 16th around here last season in Saudi Arabia. It is Mr. QVR. Killer, how you doing?
Remarkable that I finished last season. I didn't finish many races at all last season. I had a terrible record. I was here last week. I'm back, but I was here last week as well. It was Austria I was here. Yeah, I was here last week.
Oh my god.
Spain. Time flies. But yeah, I had a bit of a mare last season, didn't I, all the way through from start to finish. Remarkably, I've improved on that this season. Only one DNF for me. I'm actually, you've tempted me now. I'm going to have a look. 1, 2, 3. Oh no, I only had 4 DNFs. 4 DNFs, that's mighty impressive. But yes, thank you for the warm introduction. But I'm excited, not least because Connor has a qualifying ban and Montana's not here. So the chance of a non-NSX, well, a non-NSX front row is guaranteed, and a non-NSX winner, which I don't think we've had this season yet still, abounds. We've got a great chance for a surprise or different result, shall we say.
Definitely so, indeed. It is going to be interesting, of course, to see what is going to happen out on track tonight in Saudi Arabia. Of course, Championship already decided. Montana leading the way on 291 points, of course not here, so it actually gives everyone a little bit of a chance to actually take a win, which might be fraudulent rather than actual, maybe, in Saudi Arabia tonight. Wouter there in second on 165, Connor there in third on 137, Campbell in fourth on 124, then Rudy fifth on 89, Yildirim 6th on 84, Verstappen in 7th on 72, Izza there in 8th, also tied with Alp, who was a winner last week, I may remind you. I don't think he's part of the NSX team, though. He's there in 9th,
yes,
also on 69.
Yes, that's my terrible memory.
It's been a long week. It has been a long week. Forgive us, certainly, in the stream chat there. P's in 10th as well, on 63. Then Jeroen, Gary, Packer, Rocco, Justas top 15, Maledictus, J. Cole, Comensless, Nathan and Matthias top 20, Forza, Brennan, Hyper, Gladbach, Dylan, Timon Voss and Dan, the only other point scorers so far this season. Of course, Montana not here. Wouter, essentially, he's got a 28-point gap, I think, over Connor. Connor's obviously got that qualifying ban. He can put a setup on in qualifying, so he's not going to be totally out of contention. But Wouter has got really a free opportunity to try and bag second position tonight.
Yeah, he has. He's got a sizable, chunky lead over Connor now in the championship, and Campbell's very far back, so I think Campbell's out of any chance of second place. But yeah, Wouter, his consistency alone is going to bag him that, and I think from his last 5 starts, he's got 4 third places. Has Wouter, and then another one earlier on the season at Miami. He had that second place at Kota, of course, behind Montana, where he took, I think, pole position he won the sprint race and then finished second in the Grand Prix. So he's had a very solidly consistent season. Every race he's finished, every race he started, I should say, he's finished in the points, which is more than could be said for Connor, who has had 6 DNFs and 2 further non-point scoring finishes. So when Connor finishes, he finishes first or second or not at all. So it's night and day between those two in terms of where their points have come from. It's been a fascinating battle.
Yeah, clear inconsistency, I think, so far with Connor's performances this season. Obviously, 6 DNFs out of 15 would bark you towards the bottom end of the field, really, in Division 1 around here. But Connor is a very consistent driver. As you say, he's taken multiple wins this season, and that is why he's still in second position. AlphaTauri, by the way, leading the way on 350 points. I believe as long as they can outscore Ferrari tonight, they can certainly wrap up the championship. 43 points, basically 44 points, think of it. AlphaTauri have got 126-point lead, I think I can make it out as, but between themselves and Ferrari. Ferrari in second on 234. In fact, actually, it's 116. I'm adding 10 points on from absolutely nowhere. It's 116 points AlphaTauri have. As long as they outscore, now I think, in terms of my maths, they just need to outscore Ferrari, basically, first for AlphaTauri, third for Ferrari, and then the guaranteed the Constructors' Championship. That's what my maths is doing. Not sure about yours. It is, but I'm counting it up as 44 points per race. 3 races to go, 122 points available.
I have an A-level in maths, but I'll take your word for it with numbers. We do have a sprint race at Abu Dhabi to come, though.
Yeah.
So points available there, 19 with a fast lap point as well. And our terrible knowledge being exposed again, because J. Cole has pointed out in stream chat that Rocco won as well, didn't he? So actually, the NSX Monopoly ended 2 races ago. It's not still ongoing, as my head seemed... tiredness-riddled head seemed to think it was. Packer is first out on track, and what a god-awful track it is, isn't it? 27 corners. As you said before we get on stream, looks like a fish. I said a bit of a squid. A monstrosity is the only word for it. And I hate it. I absolutely hate it. Like this straight, the Packer's going down now. It's not even a straight. From turn 17, which is the previous relevant corner, to 22, the next relevant corner, there are 5 corners down the straight. Like, what's all that about?
It does produce some really good racing around here. Very tight finishes as well. Jensen and Tom, my favourite moment around here in Saudi Arabia, on, I think it was the last game, 1,000th of a second separating them to the line. That is how close races can get around here. I don't think we're going to get that tonight, but who knows. Packer on the run down in towards turn 1. We'll turn off the timing tower on the left hand side just to give you a full view down in toward the left hander of turn number 1 and then through the right hander of turn number 2. Packer looking quite good coming through turn number 2 there. Now through turn number 3 in towards where the track limits of course are getting monitored. Through turn number 4 you can cut quite a lot of that curb, to be honest, through turn number 4, now through turn 5, then through the left hander of 6, and then in towards this very snaking S-section-like shape, coming through 7 and 8, through 9, through 10. They come at you very quickly. There's 11, there's 12, towards the end of the first sector split on board with Packer, 32 flat through the first sector, and actually, compared to the last game, the first sector point is actually a little bit sooner rather than later around this track. It comes through the left hander of turn 13, unbelievably, we're still not through half the lap because we're coming down through 14 and 15, and then down the straight all the way down towards turns 22 and 23. This is honestly quite a bugger of a track, to be honest, to even go. At least I've got the DRS zone right this time on the run down in towards turns 21 and 22. Out on track for turns 22 and 23, then through this right-hander 24, then through what you could call a left-hander through 25, then another apparent left-hander coming through 26, and then through the left-hander of turn 27. Herman Tilke's son designed this track, so put all of your bad comments towards him. Packer on the run towards the line though on this lap. It's very neat and tidy. Maybe a 1:27.8 I think from Packer to the line. Oh, 27.6, not bad at all from Packer. He's the first man across the line as we've got a car coming across the line, and behind that's Nathan going second, 27.7, and Gary on the run toward the line as well, and he goes 27.8. So Packer out on top, now Campbell out on top, Packer second, Nathan in third with 4 minutes gone needing qualifying, but very consistent laps being said, and already out of the top 5 that are set time so far, only 7/10 of a second separating.
Yeah, nice and close, particularly between those top 4. Packer's preparation for this race was playing some Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 and shouting various slurs at people, so a good lap from him. I was flicking between QVR Packer and QVR Gary on that lap because they were next to each other, and Gary was about 600s up on Packer through the second sector split, so he's made a mess of sector 3 somewhere in there, at least a tenth and a half in that lap for Gary because he was up on Packer's time. Gilbream on pad 28.8, and I mentioned before we came on air, the disparity between pad and wheel here is gigantic, and Verstappen in the 28.2 also shown that. Carmentis sneaks into the 27s, and I think really if you're below the 28 barrier, that's the absolute minimum I think everyone will be hoping for. Pole, I know 26s are theoretically possible as a PB, but this is one of those tracks it's so hard to get right. I don't think anyone, as Alp does, goes 3 1,000s quicker than Campbell there with his first effort. This isn't the kind of track where you get close to your PB. There's no Silverstone. It's not a particularly easy one. So I think pole will be around a 0.2, 0.3, but in theory, very low 27s are possible, but drivers will be driving within themselves to stay within those walls and not with a tyre flung across the track somewhere.
Yeah, definitely so. Brendan on the run toward the line as well. Our resident Irishman, 28.6, goes actually 9th, ahead of Gary. Oh, no, sorry, Gary's actually ahead of him in P6. So the Irishmen are 6th and 9th currently out on track. Wouter's just started at 1 lap as well. He's coming to the first sector sprint, 32 flat through the first sector. So already matching Packer through the first sector. And now he comes to the left-handers. Matthias by the way, went fourth. Good lap time from him. Watch out for him potentially. I know he does like this track. It's Albert on top, Campbell in second, 3,000ths of a second separating these guys. Packer there in third, and then Matthias there in fourth. But Wouter on a lap, really hitting nearly the curb and the wall on the right-hand side there, coming out of turn 15. Now on this really hard snaking straight, on the run down in towards turns 22 and 23. There's the Mosque on the right-hand side. He's going to come through the right-hand with 23, then to the right-hand with 24, passing the tower there on the left-hand side, in towards, passing the nice bolts on the right-hand side, which they're not any bolts, to be honest, in Saudi Arabia. Let's just face it. Right on the run in toward the left-hander of turn 27. Verstappen famously hit the wall, of course, in qualifying in 2021, and then there was the whole Verstappen and Hamilton gate once again. We're not going to get that tonight, I'm sure. Right on the run toward the line, goes 7th, behind Gary. Not a bad lap at all. Had a comment list as well there from our resident man in P2, the Dutchman. Albon top, Campbell second, Packer in third, with 7 minutes gone in qualifying. I don't think there's anybody else on the lap at this stage. I think J. Cole might be preparing up for a lap. He's coming through the middle sector, as well as Maledictus, who I think is just about to start a lap.
I wonder, just watching that Wouter lap, I wonder if Packer's last sector is just godly. He's turn 22 and 23 particularly, because Wouter again was matching Packer. He was a few hundred slower, but matching Packer through the middle sector split, and then just lost it all in sector 3. But as you say, Maledictus gearing up for a lap. He's just started it. Oh, and that was a big moment through turn 4. Let's have a look. And through sector 1, really, you want to minimise the amount of inputs you're having to make. Any kind of jitter or correction you're having to put into your input device, be it wheel or pad, will hemorrhage you lap time. That looked nice from Maledictus. He wanted to be, it was nice, but not particularly quick, 32.3. That's sort of more in the range of what us D2 pad drivers will be doing later on this evening. Do tune in with Ariel J. Cole and QVR Verstappen. He clips the wall there, does QVR Maledictus, very bizarrely through turn 14, but 16 and 17 were really nice, using all of the curb on the inside. It's one of those ones where you've got to play dare with your turn in. Turn 22 coming up is another one. Very easy to just play it safe and wander very far astray of the apex. Let's see how he takes 22. And yes, Maledictus didn't nail his turn in, looked a bit nervous, couldn't hook it up. And I think those corners, 16 and 22, they are such massive indicators of a driver's confidence. If they're committed on the turn in, they will brush it against the wall and it'll be absolutely perfect. It'll look delightful on the turn in. You can see those kind of efforts where they just stray a little bit deep. You can tell they're not perfectly happy and at one with the track and the car, because they're not as committed to the turn-in perhaps as they should be.
Yeah, turn 22 certainly has been a thorn on my side around here, even on time trial. I tend to hit the corner, basically hitting the wall on the left-hand side and then forced out wide. J. Cole is on a lap. He manages to get through turns 23 and 24 safely. It was a good middle sector from him. He's now on that set of soft compound tyres. According to the graphics on the left-hand side, he's on a set of mediums, but he's on that set of soft compound tyre now in towards the left-hander of turn 27 at the end of this lap. Nearly halfway through qualifying. Albon top, Campbell in second, Packer in third. I know Campbell and Carey are also on laps as well, as J. Cole now on the run toward the line. 28.3 for the line. Ooh. 28.2, not too bad. I'm getting closer. Same lap time though as Verstappen. He's just started up, I think, on a lap, or he's either just ended on a lap because he is backing off in terms of his ERS usage. And Gary is around 700 down, coming through the final couple of corners in towards turn 27. He comes halfway through qualifying though. Abbott on top, Campbell second, Packer in third. Campbell is on a lap, I think, coming through the middle sector as well, as Gary on the run toward the line. We'll see what he can set. The Irishman on the run to the line goes third, 27.647. Not a bad lap at all. But Campbell improving, he's nearly 1.5 tenths up.
Yep, and let's see how he approaches turn 27. He's got a car in his eye line. That'll be very distracting. It looks like he's a little bit hesitant to turn in there. Even if it's nowhere near you, it's still a massive distraction. I crashed in Spain qualifying last week because I had a car wandering off the track in front of me. Where's he going? 27.4, didn't distract him too much, did it? Pole position for Campbell. And Gary vindicated my theory. He had no time, or had loads of time in sector 3, because he found nearly 2 tenths after being 700s down. Gladbach has just got into P5 in the other AlphaTauri, 27.7. He's not been showing too much qualifying pace so far this season. That was a massive lap from him. And Nathan's just come through the middle sector now, complaining he'd have no pace on a pad. But let's see where he's at. If you're in around a 1:04, that's good. And a 1:03 for Nathan. That is a really big lap. And 22 completely ruins it. But Nathan was on Alp Campbell pace there through the middle sector. But turn 22, again, not committed to the turn-in, and it cost him.
Somebody else that is, those Matthias actually in behind him. He's coming through the middle sector. 1 minute 4 through the middle sector. So not too bad actually for Matthias. He is improving slightly. His final sector normally is quite good. Campbell all out on top, out there in second. Gary now in third. So good lap there by Campbell, out there in second. Rudy currently is on a lap as well. He's in the Williams coming through the middle sector, I think, as the yellow flag is out. Oh, as Matthias nearly does. And Max Verstappen coming out of turn 7 at 27. And now he's into the pit lane. I don't blame him, to be honest, after that cold brown moment. Campbell out on top, out there in second. And Gary there in third. Alp is coming through the first sector split, or round about the first sector split. Rudy through the middle sector split is looking very quick. I know he is quick around here, is the resident Talon Factory man. Out though through the first sector. 31.7 through the first sector, are you kidding me?
That is a massive first sector from Alp, and using all of the track on the exit 13. 14's a non-corner, you flick it into 15 there, you come at 16 unsighted. Oh, look at that, dancing with the wall, fabulous. And again on the exit, he might even pick up a very small toe here. I don't think he will actually. And the Williams gets straight out of the way. Let's have a look how committed he is into 22. I'm expecting big things here. I'm expecting him to brush the wall.
Oh, this is huge.
Oh, that was lovely from Alp, and brave with the curb as well. That is a bumpy curb, he can catch you out. But full commitment from the Mercedes driver, the standing Mercedes driver, standing for Rocco today. And I think this is going to lower the bar, James, significantly for pole position, and using all the track on the way into 27 and all the track on the way out.
Yep, 27.2 I'm thinking here for Alp, on the run toward the line. Here comes the Turk, on the run to the line. 27.2, dead on. Beautiful lap by Alp. That is how you do a lap around Saudi Arabia. Nobody is going to get close to that. That first sector was absolutely electric. Continued in the middle sector, continued again in the final sector. Absolute blistering time from Alp. He's out on top, and goodness me, he's 4.5 second clear of Gary, who's in third. That just comes to show Alp absolutely loves this track. He goes currently to provisional pole. That lap time is not getting beaten.
I don't think so. I think you're going to have a major pair of reproductive organs on you in order to beat that lap, because you'd have to throw. We saw Alp was using all of the track there, and then some. You'd have to be basically putting it in the wall to try and have a chance going any quicker than that. Have we got anyone on a lap? We've got Julebream on a lap on mediums, who's just backed off. I'm not sure why he elected to do that. Pease has just started a lap, doesn't have a time on the board so far, so shall we have a look at Ariel Pease? Look at that cut through fours, nice. 5 using all of the track, and then got a bit too greedy, I think, with the wall there. Pushed him a little wide for 6 and 7, and you then the offline, and it just carries all the way through in 10 and 11, 12 area out. Laps gone there, and Pease caught very informed for Pease, isn't he? He's not done much for the last few weeks, it has to be said.
No, I think he's been one of the disappointments actually of the whole season in Liga Group Division 1. We had high expectations from him. The second half of the last season was absolutely brilliant from his perspective. Obviously on the old game. Now on the new game, this is not really to his standard, I think. Pease, I personally think, will be better in Division 2 next season rather than Division 1. Just to give him that little bit more development, just to try and improve him that little bit, and then obviously fight with drivers around his standard. Pease has been struggling. On his day, he is normally quite quick. On his day, though, here in Saudi Arabia, he is really, I'm not going to say woeful, but he is underperforming, certainly. And Pease there down in 17th, obviously backed off his lap. He didn't seem confident at all through that first sector either. But it's Albert on top, Campbell in second, Gary there in third. I believe Yildirim, as you say, is on that, but he's actually improving by 0.4 of a second. 1 minute 0.5 in the middle sector from Yildirim. That's on a set of medium compounded tyres, by the way, so Yildirim clearly going. And if there's any man that can actually start inside the top 10 on a set of mediums, it's him. He did this, I think, on a couple of occasions already this season, as Yildirim now comes through, rides the curb nearly through 27, on the run toward the line out, on board with Yildirim. I'm going to say 28.3 here. Yildirim to the line. Oh, it's even quicker than that. 27.8. What am I on about? He goes 9th.
I do not understand the motivation for that at all, because you get free choice of tyre to start the race on anyway, so you may as well just start on qualify on softs. Unless Julebream's got some secret knowledge, the softs do wear quite a bit here. You will be starting your lap with around 3% on them, but I wouldn't say that's enough to offset the difference to the medium tyre. So I'm surprised Julebream's thought the mediums are the way to go, but who am I to question it? He's a quicker driver than me. Car Mentalist was the first to start their final laps, and has immediately gone invalid. Must have cut turn 1 or 2. I imagine perhaps a bit eager with the turning into one. You can go over the orange curve a little bit, easy to cut. Turn 2's a little harder to do and gain time from it. So I think Car Mentalist there, I don't think will be the first driver, I'll put it that way, to see those track maps go red on their last laps.
Yeah, Nathan is going to be next up, I think, on a lap. He's coming through the left-handers of 25, 26 and 27. Alpad on top, Campbell in second, Gary there in third. As you say, Car Mentalist was looking quite good going on to his lap. As you say, I think it was the right-hander turn number 2, actually, that he took too much curb of, invalidated, immediately backed off that lap. Nathan, though, of course, I believe on a pad, if I'm not mistaken. Is Nathan on a pad? I think he is.
He is indeed, but I think if this was any other track, we'd see Nathan top 3, top 4. The fact he's dragged his car to P8 right now on a pad is very impressive. No one ahead of him is on a pad. He is the fastest of those drivers, and Gilbream very close behind him, of course, on the medium tyres. That was nice through 4 or 5. Had to lift off a little bit. I think some of the time is gone. Let's see his inputs through here. That's nice and smooth.
Yeah, not good.
Well, I don't know. Oh, yeah, he's in bad.
Hey,
as I said, Aiden not the first.
Yeah, Aiden not the first indeed. Nathan, I don't think happy with that first sector. And if you get one sign of bit of hesitancy, that is it. Basically, your first sector is entirely gone. Unfortunately for Nathan, that was the case there. He's down still in 8th position. Obviously, still got a bit of time to try and find. I'm going to go on board with Campbell. He's coming through turn 27 now. He's just starting up on a lap. Alpad on top, 27.2. Packer's on a lap. He's invalid, though.
Packer, he's just invalidated. Gary also coming through the first sector. Gary's done a 31 in sector 1.
31.9, yeah, nearly a 10th improvement actually from Gary through sector 1. On board with Campbell coming through turns number 1 and 2, nicely riding the curb there. Now the Scotsman through turn 3, into the left-hander turn number 4, the Meydan Tower on the right-hand side there, just beyond the camera shot. But Cameron now coming through turn 5, then in towards turn 6. Ferrari gets neatly out of the way to the left-hand side of him there, coming through turn 8, turn 9, then through the left-hander turn number 10. Oh, very nearly to the curb. Mick Schumacher-S coming through there, and it's a 31.9 in the first sector, actually marginally quicker than Gary in that middle sector. Gary, in the meantime, will go on board with him because he is 2/10 up on his lap, coming towards the end of this lap now. The Irishman looking very good indeed. Alpad on top, Campbell there in second, Gary there in third. He now comes in towards turn 27. We'll compare that to Campbell's middle sector very soon indeed. But Gary now on the run toward the line, aiming to try and put it onto the front row of the grid. He goes for now third, and he stays third at this moment in time. Campbell now coming through the middle sector split is 5 thousandths up, so clearly made a mistake I think through 16 and 17, and that obviously degrades up speed away. Campbell not looking that quick, out through the first sector, 31.6 in the first sector, 59.8 in the middle. Absolutely insane from Alp coming through the middle sector. We'll go on board with him. I don't care about Campbell. Alp out on top, Campbell in second, Gary in third. Nobody's getting close to this. 59.8 in the middle sector is absolutely ludicrous. Coming in towards the left-hander turn 27. This is going to be maybe 26s here as the McLaren spins just in front, and a little bit of front wing flies in towards Alp's goal. Alp now on the run to the line. 27 flat. Are you kidding me? Campbell, by the way, second, 27.3. Gary there in third. As we said, nobody getting close to that lap, and he just makes a mockery out of everyone with that lap time. 27 flat. Absolutely ludicrous from Alp.
Yeah, I'm not sure how. I think Alp was the only person to improve there, along with Campbell, the top two. So vindicating their position at the top of the grid. I don't think anyone else improved on their last laps, at least not in the top 10. I think maybe Car Mentalist did, but that would be it. But yeah, that Alp lap, absolutely ridiculous. Campbell and Gary were on massive laps until Gary choked turn 22. And who can blame him? 2/10 up, you see that delta, your heart starts racing, you get a little nervy, you overthink the turn in, you overthink the braking point, you try just flick it in, and Gary went a little too deep there, kept it valid, but lost 1/10.5 in the process. Campbell, so I think Alp might have even lost a little bit there as well. He went a shade deep into 22. Who am I to critique? But I think that lap could have been even quicker from Alp. Possibly sector 3 might have been better on his second effort. What are you seeing that's amusing you, James?
Pease was holding up the Williams. Pease is actually retired now. Gary's retired out of the session. That's the end of qualifying done. Thought there was going to be an illegal blocking penalty in towards turn number 1. That's why I was monitoring him. He's there in 17th. Don't think he was going to get away with that, though. But it is Alp out on top. And I mean, 0.3 of a second to Campbell is normally good on the best of days. Around here, like a track like Saudi Arabia, is unbelievable. Alp out on top from Campbell there in second, Gary there in third, with Packer in fourth. only a thousandth of a second ahead of Rudy there in 5th. Good luck from him. Gladbach there in 6th. Matthias there in 7th. Nathan in 8th. And Commensus there in 9th. That'll be an interesting one off the line. Yildirim there in 10th on that set of mediums. And he will, of course, start on that fresh compound tire like everyone else will. Whiter, Maledictus, Brendan, Verstappen, Jekyll top 15. Dylan there in 16th. Pease down in 17th. Did get a valid lap time in. Connor, of course, with his qualifying band starting right down at the back of the field. Alp clearly out on top in qualifying. Qualifying is one thing, the race is another, but you cannot look past them surely for the race win.
I wouldn't. 3/10 is a massive margin around here, and I think I said it. Drivers will not get close to their PBs here. They'll drive within themselves. The fact he managed to pull that lap out just shows not only his raw speed, but also how happy and comfortable he is going around this track. He's able to extend the track to its absolute maximum and maximise his gains from it. From braking, turn and acceleration under the pressure of the real thing, when a lot of drivers will have fallen some way short of their PBs in that session. So I think it speaks not only to his speed, but his character as well, if I may sound a little bit soppy there. He is the standout favourite for the race. Behind him, I'd say I think Campbell and Gary are in a good position, but we know what Gary starts like. He'll be 17th after the first lap with the new front wing needed. But I'll give my prediction now, so you don't have to ask me in the formation lap. It's going to be Alp is first, Campbell is second, and Wouter is going to be third.
Alp, Campbell and Wouter. Very interesting indeed. The grass hanging over the pit lane there, just in the background of shot. Not sure why there is grass over a glass roof. But you never know. You never know. I'm guessing the ones that are pro-carbon neutral and hybrid era. In a country like Saudi Arabia, though, I think you're really defeating the object, to be honest. But there we are. Political opinions are going to stay out, unfortunately, out of this stream. News, by the way, Packer and Killer Blue, obviously, were top 3 around here last season in Division 2. Why have I got the Division 2 settings? That's Season 6. What am I on about? I don't know what I'm going on about there. Alpad on top, Campbell second, Gary in third. Let's have a look then at the strategies that everyone is going to be on. And no surprise, really, that a few have gone for set of mediums, a few have gone for set of hard compound tyres as well. Normally, hards to mediums probably the better strategy around here. Alp, interestingly, on a set of hards along with Campbell on the front row of the grid. Gary, really the exception rather than real, along with Nathan on that set of mediums. Everyone else in the top 10 is on that set of hards. Maledictus, Verstappen, Jekyll and Dylan, the 2 Red Bulls, also on that set of medium compound tyres. Everyone else, including Connor, which I'm very surprised in, starting on a set of hard compound tyres at the back, as Dylan Pease have already had an accident, which is not great at all on the formation lap. Of course, if they had an accident in real life, they probably would be banned. But Alp out on top, Campbell there in second, Gary there in third. Jav has popped into the comment section. Good evening to you. Campbell, Rudy and Wouter for the top 3 for him, and Kira there in the chat saying, where is Montana? Montana is not here, so this gives a really good opportunity for obviously one of these guys to now put their name quite literally in lights.
You said, Kiera said, where is Montana? Now you've answered that question. Montana's about to immediately leave the stream. That's literally the only reason he tuned in. He's not race. He's in chat right now. He's not racing, bud. He's not racing. You feel free to go and watch another league race, because I think Kia is only over here for Montana. If Gary had an excuse for a good start, it is today. There's 7. He's in the top 7, and he's the only driver in the top 7 on the softer, grippier, quicker, medium tyre. He has no excuses for a terrible start, and he's got a second one actually. It's such a short run down to turn 1 here compared to, for example, Spain last week. He should be nabbing Campbell off the line at least, but we shall see. I don't no surprises there in the strategy. Nathan's an interesting one. I thought Moore would go mediums, but it's given me good information for D2 later on. But we shall see. I'm expecting Alp to run and hide a little bit, and I'm also expecting, we can expect, I think, most drivers to burn their ERS heavily on the opening few laps, given the high-speed nature of the track. I think we could be seeing drivers derating fairly quickly today.
Izzat, by the way, I think doing a bit of a Jack Nichols, to be honest, asking you, will you father his children?
No, is the answer to that.
I'm glad we covered that one up. Alpha on the run down in towards, of course, turn number 1. This is going to be basically where Alpha is going to be coming from. He's on the outside line, actually. On the inside line is obviously going to be Campbell, so that might be the freshest start. So Campbell might actually get the jump in towards turn number 1. Outside line, though, is probably the place to be. Alp Gary and Rudy, I think, for my top 3. First, third and fifth. No pressure, Gary. You're on a set of mediums. Try and produce it off turn number 1. We'll run above with Campbell off the start because his camera angle is dodgy. 5 red lights now going off in the gantry for round number 15 of the championship here in Saudi Arabia. And it is lights and away we go, and Campbell does get a better start than Alp, and already he's going to overtake him towards turn number 1. Gary gets a really good jump as well, and Alp was absolutely shocking off the start. Gary to the inside line, through turn number 1, now to the right hand side of turn number 2, tries to get around the outside, and he does. He's through and he's into second. Alp with an absolute shocker. Nathan is going side by side with now in fourth. Huge bit of contact in the background. Yeah, Matthias is round. Wouter, I think, got collided in that as well. Connor just about avoided that. Pease might have got caught up in that as a bit of a receding action. Wouter losing a position to Connor further down the field, but Campbell already blitzing away, out in front by 1.1 seconds. Gary there in second, Alp in third with a really shocking start. Nathan there in fourth, Packer there in fifth. Relatively good start toward the top end of the field, but Wouter and Matthias, you said the Ferraris collided.
Yeah, Maledictus has damage as well. Brendan's got damage. He's let everyone go. Maledictus went off the track somewhere. Wouter's running around with no front wing at all. Dylan's just passed him at turn 13. Or maybe he's not. Wouter's going to fight this one out into turn 16. This is going to be brave from Wouter to try and hold Dylan up here. Narrowly avoids contact. There was a little bit of contact further on as well, but Wouter hit the back of... I can't remember who it was, if I'm honest with you, but there's loads of damage. Both McLarens have damage. Both Ferraris have damage. And Wouter's passed Dylan again, with no front wing.
I don't get that. Why would you fight with no front wing to try and get an overtake done? And now he's just going to put Dylan, Pease, Forza Brendan all under a lot of pressure to try and deliver around the outside. And again, Wouter's going to go through with no front wing. That's impossible. Rudy, though, on the back of Gladbach.
Yeah, Rudy having a go at Gladbach. Gladbach went a little deep there, nearly tagged the back of Packer, and it's going to be... Ooh, getting squeezed to the wall there is Rudy all the way down the pit straight, but I think Rudy's going to get this one done, and he is. The Gladbach's let him go, and both on the hard tyres, of course, but at the front that was a clean opening lap, but in the midfield and the back it was very chaotic. Both Ferraris in, and I think both McLarens limping around with damages. Pease and Dylan are getting very close there. Matthias retired from the session. Dylan and Pease having a bit of an argy-bargy into turn 2.
Yeah, indeed. Dylan, I think, just holding the position there. Pease on that sort of hard component. Clearly wants to get on with things. I'm not sure if Dylan might have clipped the wall maybe on lap 1. He just seems to be struggling on the back of Maledictus there. Maybe left side on plate damage, maybe on that compounder tyre. Melty, by the way, was Izzat, or was pretending to be Izzat in He Is an Utter Child, I've got to say, in the comment section, so just ignore him. Campbell out on top, Gary in second, Alp there in third, Nathan there in fourth. Nathan on the back of Alp. Just talk about Alp's start. We saw it from Campbell's perspective. He got an absolute electric launch off the line. Nathan now on the side of medium compound tyres on the back of Alp, and Alp almost got it's almost as if he just wheel spin basically off the line and couldn't get basically through the gears to try and counteract Gary in towards turn 1.
Sorry, I was just replying to Kiara in live stream because I think I offended him in the stream chat. Whatever you said, yes, Gary is terrible. I just heard Gary, so I assume that's what you were saying. We've got Rudy having a look at Packer towards turn 27. A little bit close. I wonder if Rudy's running skinnier wings here. I think most drivers be in the highest would be like 16-13. The lowest might be like 10-9 possibly if they're running super aggressive. I think Rudy is running super aggressive. Using all his ERS here, he's going to dump it. Packer's going to try and park his car towards the middle of the track. Rudy has to back out and then tags the back of Packer. Rudy is not in Division 1's good books recently. He doesn't want to be doing things like that too often.
Yeah, doesn't want to be doing that too often. I think it's basically because he backed off, realised that Packer was braking in front of him, Rudy just collected the back of him. Luckily, no more than that, just a little bit of tiny tap on the back of the rear wing there, but Rudy there in 6th position, obviously in the bad boots after what was appalling performance, I've got to say, in Austria, but they're in 6th position, doing a good job for now. And looking at the chat as well, yeah, Melty obviously in the chat, I think trying to get your attention-seeking child there in the chat. Campbell though leads the way, Gary in second, out there in third, Maledictus on the back of Connor. Connor, by the way, has gained 6 positions up the line because Matthias has obviously retired out the race. Wright obviously had to pit in for his front wing change. Connor though was on that sort of hard compound tyres. He's in basically mixed in with the medium runners, and he looks like he's going at medium runner pace at this stage. And with Verstappen and Commensus leading this pack along as well, Connor has got a little bit of a good chance to actually look, and even down the straight, he's pulling away quite clearly from Maledictus. So Connor definitely got a much better setup than everyone around him. That is a beautiful helicopter cam coming through the left-handers of 22 and 23.
I did think that both McLarens had damage. I'm starting to wonder if Maledictus actually does have damage.
Here comes Connor.
Connor's going to come for a move here around the outside of J. Cole. This is be fabulous if he can pull it off. He goes very deep. He's going to cut back, as you say, tuck in with the DRS, maybe some ERS, but This will be a tricky one to get made down into turn 1. He'll have to use all of his ERS, but I think he's committed to it. He's still got it engaged, and he's going to pull to the left-hand side, have a look and overtake J. Cole, probably, if he's wise. Isn't going to fight this too hard. He does outbrake Connor just a touch. Connor's going to have to tuck back, cut underneath for turn 3. Little non-corner kink there, and he's going to out-drag him towards turn 4. This is going to be who's got the bigger testicles, and it turned out that it was Connor.
Yeah, Connor gets the job done into 11th position. As I said, very good setup on that car. Obviously proving that so far at this stage. Kiara, by the way, in the chat, there's really no need for comments like that, to be honest. Either keep it fair, or we can just block you like that and you won't be able to comment on any stream here in League of Europe ever again. Campbell leads the way. Gary in second, though, out there in third. We'll go to the front runners of the pack as Gladbach is on the back of Rudy, who now just seems to be struggling. I'm not sure if he's tapped the wall maybe somewhere in the Williams. Gladbach there in 7th position. Currently, not like Borussia much in Gladbach, obviously in the relegation zone like he has been in the last couple of races. But Gladbach doing well, obviously got himself up there in qualifying, in 7th position, on the back of Rudy. Rudy is losing time to Packer, who looks like he's got a better setup on just down this part of the track anyways. And nothing really happening towards the top end of the field, but Gladbach might come under pressure from Yildirim, because Yildirim now trying to use all of that ERS usage up. Same with Commentus as well. Verstappen on the back of this as well. And Maledictus maybe on the back of J. Cullen to 27 as Brendan is through on Dylan further down the field. And Maledictus not getting quite close enough. As now, I think Nathan is going to go for Albin towards turn 1.
Yeah, he put on a spurt of ERS on the exit 27. Alp used even more to defend. Nathan thought about it, saw that Alp was using, and then backed off quickly. But the top 4 are really closed up. I wonder, do you think Campbell, he was a second clear of Gary. I know Gary's uses ERS and now he's got DRS, but I wonder if Campbell's just maybe perhaps tagged the wall and got some very, very light green damage or something, because he suddenly doesn't look very happy. He was over a second clear. That is very much not the case now, and Alp and Nathan are coming back into play as well. Our top 4 were a little more spread, but now they're only 1.8 seconds apart, and the entire field now down to, who is it, down to J. Cole are all in DRS range. Nathan getting very close to Alp again there through turn 13. This could be a race where there'll be drivers running with the damage that we'll have no idea, because, for example, where our leaders are now, 16, 17, they'll just clip the wall on the exit here on the right-hand side, and it'll be an innocent little tap, but it'll give them some very light wing damage, and we'll have no idea, but it could just shift the dynamic of some of these battles if a fewer drivers may be running some unseen damage. I'm rampantly speculating. I don't think Campbell has damage, looking at his pace now through the first sector, but just something to bear in mind if we see perhaps a shift of power.
Yeah, I think, honestly, Campbell, that first sector, he just seems to be struggling in this. Connor, I think, is going to line up a move with Verstappen round the outside and towards turn 26. This is job done for Connor. He is coming through the field very nicely indeed. Doing he's into 10th position, passing Verstappen. Don't rule him out of a top 3 finish towards the end of this race. I'm just going to say that now before, obviously, he bins it in towards the wall, maybe. Campbell out on top, though. Gary in second, Alp there in third. I think, to answer your point, Campbell is just lacking in the first sector. Gary obviously gains the DRS as pieces into the pit lane. Gary obviously gains that DRS on the back of Campbell. And now through the first sector, Campbell all of a sudden looks very quick compared to Gary. Compared to Gary. Coming to the left-hander, that's another name change that I'm going to be giving the Irishman, like Brenda a bit earlier on in the season. But yeah, Gary on the back of Campbell. Campbell just looks a lot stronger now through the first sector. That was a bit of a slide there from Gary. And now Alp is within 4.5 tenths.
Yeah, it just looked very, I use the word lackadaisical from Gary. The car just didn't want to turn as it came through 10 and 11. It looked a bit sloppy. That's put out right on the back, and Gary on the medium tyres. I wonder, I genuinely have no idea. I've done no strategy work for this race because I hate it. But where the medium tyres are going to start to go off, I don't know where that crossover is. Right now, it seems like the balance power still with Gary a little bit, but we shall see. For as long as he's got DRS, I think he's in a good place. But if we see Campbell extend that gap over a second again, I think that's a sign that Gary's going to come in pronto, because he'll want to... because the whole field's together, so whoever pits is going to get some lovely clean air. So I wonder if Gary might be thinking of an earlier pit stop here.
Here comes Rudy on the back of Packer, actually. Coming in towards turn 27. He's going to lunge this maybe toward the inside line. Actually, thinks better of it. That is good from Rudy. Obviously, doesn't want to go for a move. That's not going to be his. Clearly got the pace. Maybe down in towards turn 1. Already on that ERS. That's going to give him a couple of extra mile an hour. And with his speed down the straight, he is really closing in now. Rudy to the inside line. In towards turn 1. There's a yellow flag in the middle sector. I think that's Dylan that's around. But Rudy to the inside line. Packer just giving them position. Rudy through and he's into 5th. Nice job there by Rudy. This is Rudy at his best. Obviously, with very good overtaking so far. Rudy there in 5th, Packer there in 6th. And as I say, watch out for him. He has won around here in Saudi Arabia before in other leagues. He loves this track. Rudy there into 5th, now proving why I want to try and make up for lost time from Austria. As Albert's picked up a penalty.
Yeah, penalty for Alp. That could be very costly, because we said about him running away and hiding, or I did at least. He's not been able to do that thanks to his Gary-esque start, and the longer he stays caught up in this thing now, that penalty could be very costly, because right now he's 1.3 seconds off lead. A penalty would put him behind Julbury, where we'd get a late safety car in a similar situation with the trainers to what we have now. He would drop from 3rd to 8th with a 3-second penalty, as Pease picks up one as well, but he's in a relevant position. Julbury is gone. Speaking of Julbury,
safety
he's
car
off his front wing there.
Might be a VSC, potentially. Yeah, he's lost his front wing. I think he's got caught on the outside curb. He's hit the wall. The car was just sent it one way into the left-hand side wall, and obviously sent round. Yildirim there, down in 14th, and no VSC or safety car being deployed unless the Saudi Arabian marshals are that slow to obviously come out. Don't think we're going to get a safety car or VSC, but that now actually means Carmentalus and Connor are now out of DRS range, because he was ahead of these guys, Yildirim. Carmentalus now 1.4 seconds off. Connor is now going to attack the Alpine down in towards turn 1, and this is going to be possibly one of the easiest moves you'll see all night. Nathan is on the back as well of Alp, but I don't think that move is going to happen. Connor, though, does make that move happen on the back of Carmentalus, and I think that was needed, to be honest. Connor, much quicker driver than Carmentalus. To be honest, Carmentalus can just stick on the back of him, stay within a second, as Dylan was tied out on track, and that might be a safety car, and indeed it is.
It is. Gary and Nathan, how do you like your luck? That is beautifully timed for them. And I wonder, Julburim's into the pit, so that helps him. I wonder if some of these drivers now, for example, like Julburim, or if you're on the back like Brendan on the hards, you can come in, change, and go back medium to the end, because you get 2 sets of mediums now. But I think that we could see that coming a mile off from Dylan, couldn't we? Wouter's in as well, Pease is in. No brainer for all those medium runners to make stops. It's interesting, isn't it? Looking at the tyres, how all the medium runners have sunk to the back of the field and all the hard runners have risen to the top. Clearly, the hard runners knew what they were doing. And the last thing I'll say is Gary was actually getting quite close to Campbell when that came up. He got the gap down to half a second towards turn 1. So those medium tyres were still working nicely for him. He had DRS, but he's still keeping the gap close.
Yeah, it's been hovering around that 0.5 of a second, I think, in towards turn 1 on previous laps as well. So Gary obviously wants to try and stay consistently on the back of Campbell. Now with the safety car out, I do have a feeling that these guys on a set of mediums, especially Gary and Nathan especially, are going to be in for a set of hard compound tyres to the end. I mean, why wouldn't they? They've got 17 laps basically from the end, from this point of the race to the end. They can make that very easily indeed. Set of medium compound tyres can only go to around lap 12, lap 13, and then you're going to be really going on the rubber, and that's why the tyre wear will go off. So I suggest that Gary and Nathan would pit in here. Campbell is staying out. Interesting. Alp stays out. Nathan in. Rudy in. In fact, most of them in, apart from Packer, as Alp picks up a 5-second penalty for spinning in the pits. That's another 8 seconds, I think, on his time. Is he going to get that served up straight away in the pit lane? No. They're going to transition onto that set of mediums. Yeah, onto that set of medium compound tyres he goes. And looking at, I think Gary got held up there.
Rudy had to queue. Rudy's lost out big time here. He was right behind Nathan. Yeah, that was very costly for Rudy. So who else has lost out? He's gone behind Verstappen now. But for Alp, Connor's up to 6th. My word, and he's on the quickest time going to the end. Alp's got penalties ahead of him. If Alp goes to the end, that will get removed, because the pit lane speed line, he got the penalty about 10 metres before the pit lane speed line. That was a fully bugged, and the way he slowed down as well forced Nathan and Rudy to really practically have to stop to avoid hitting him. So I'm not sure what on earth happened there. Possibly there's a slight chance that Nathan could have tagged the back of Alp, but that was very bizarre. And I know it's your favourite topic, James. Codemasters at their finest once again with that Alp penalty, which hopefully he can go to the end and get that removed. But if he has to serve it, his race is ruined.
Yeah, it's just another glitch that I think that I haven't really bothered to fix around this track. There's not many glitches around this track, luckily, but the pit lane glitch or the pit entry glitch is certainly one. This is why, Codemasters, it's in your title, it's in your mantra, code the game properly, and then you wouldn't have this. Campbell out on top, Packer in 2nd, Gary in 3rd, Nathan there in 4th. They are still on that set of hard compound tyres. The big gainers, as you mentioned there, Rudy obviously lost that big time. He got held up completely in the pit lane. I think he got held up by Gladbach and Comensus, who were obviously just in front of him at the time, I think. So Rudy, they're down into 10th position. Big gainer, though, Connor. He has gained multiple positions. He was behind, he was just ahead of Comensus, I think. So he's actually gained only the one place ahead of Gladbach. But I think he'd be rather glad about that, is Connor in Aston Martin. There was a pun in there somewhere. I was trying to aim for one. Didn't really work. Campbell out on top, though. Packer in second. Gary in third. Nobody going to come in the pit lane. Interesting though, Campbell and Packer obviously staying out in the set of hards. They, I think, are thinking that there's going to be another safety car, probably in this race, probably before their pit stop phase, or otherwise they could go set of softs potentially.
Yeah, they could well go for softs. The softs, I don't think they hold up too well, but you know, with the safety car, certainly if a safety car comes out like lap 18, lap 19, say, it's certainly doable. Their trouble is that literally everyone is pitting now. I think they were expecting more of the hard start to stay out. I don't think they thought the likes of Alp, Connor, Gladbach would come in. Clearly they didn't have the faith the mediums would go all the way to the end. So they're in like they're a bit of a stuck in the mud right now. They would have hoped for another safety car, but because everyone else is pitted and everyone else is confident those mediums go to the end, they're now in a position where they need another safety car. Otherwise, they are going to be stone dead last in this race. And we were in a position where Gary is the net leader of the League of Europe Division 1 Saudi Arabia Grand Prix, and Gary has promised so much this season on various occasions. He had a lot of great qualifying sessions, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th. Never quite managed to convert it through misfortune or just a mistake, and this is his best chance he's got. He doesn't need to pass Packer, Campbell, they've got pit stops to make. It's Gary versus Nathan right now for the win of this race, and Connor is like Darth Vader, the shadow of Darth Vader lurking in the background, like ready to strike them down, isn't he? But Gary and Nathan have a huge chance here.
Yeah, may smite everyone down potentially in front of him. Campbell out on top, Packer there in second, Gary there in third. But the safety car should be coming in this lap. It should come in probably on the exit of turn 24 here, which is there. Exactly, as I said, and Campbell now the virtual thermometer, he's on the virtual safety car. I think he'll keep a very consistent pace, probably go on the DRS detection point line, and then down in towards turn 1 he'll try and fly. But Packer obviously going to be on the back of him. Watch out for Gary, watch out for Nathan, but immediately watch out for Alp and Connor, because Alp has obviously got 8 seconds worth of penalties, and the penalties run down, by the way, is that simple. Alp only on 8 seconds, and P's only on 3, so that is the penalties run down, as Campbell still leads the way, coming through the left-hand return. Turn 27, and now he begins to floor it. So Campbell goes on the exit of turn 27, on the run toward the line. Already caught Gary napping, and Nathan and Saba him in towards turn 1. Of course, they can't overtake. Now he can, though. Down in towards turn 1. He's on the outside line of Gary. To the inside line of turn number 1 goes Gary, but Nathan goes around the outside, actually makes a little bit of contact with him. To the inside line. Bit of snap of oversteer there from Packer in front as well. He makes a big mistake, but Nathan there in third. Just about shut off Gary there at the pass. He's into third. Packer, though, I'm not sure if he hit the wall. Maybe on the left side end place, but he has certainly struggled off the line. Campbell there leads the way from Packer in second, Nathan in third, Gary in fourth, Alp right on the back of Gary, who's really becoming a rolling roadblock at this stage through the first sector.
Contact between Alp and Gary into turn 4, just the lightest of touch, but it took them both off the road. Then Alp picked up a warning, I'm absolutely certain of it, through the S's section. He's already got 1 penalty, he can't afford to pick up another, and they're going to be side by side out of 13 here, through 40 towards 15, turn 16 is such a short braking zone. You'd have to be a madman to have a go into there. Alp does back out, but he's looking a little bit angsty, is Alp, I think. Hitting Gary, picking up a warning. He needs to keep his head a little bit, and look at Gladbach now behind Connor, and Connor's having to use a little bit, I think, down the straight to back them up. Everyone's sniffing around for an opportunity. There's plenty going, I think. After safety car restart, a track like this, you drive in, it's almost like you're on rails around this track. There's no room for error. Everyone's going to be a little bit nervy, and Alp's going to have another go here towards turn 27.
He is round the outside, he comes on the back of Gary. Gary will defend the inside line, might take the middle ground, but Alp absolutely flies around the outside shooter. That's too late on the brakes, tries to go lead into all. He's still side by side with them though, and he gets the traction actually outside the corner, and that is brilliant from Alp. He is through and he's into fourth, and now Connor. Look at this, here comes Connor, here comes Gladbach as well. It is Gary hunting now, we're in towards turn number 1, as now Connor threads the Island Needle down the inside and around the outside and towards turn number 1. contact there. I think that was actually Gladbach on the inside line who tried to go 3 wide.
Oh,
Gary though and Albert still side by side. Rudy's involved in that as well. Connor now going backwards. Gary's just been overtaken by Alp around the outside of turn number 4, which is mad. Campbell leads the way, Packer second, Nathan third. This race has just gone from 0 to 100 in the matter of seconds. Carl Mentalist right on the back of Connor, who is the one that's lost out.
I'd love to see all the replays from that because there's so much to unpick in that. Rudy nearly got squeezed to the right to the wall by Connor at turn 3, which is why I yelled his name. Gary nearly nipped back through Connor and Alp there, and then as you say, Alp just nabbed it back on turn 2, and then that was where Connor nearly squeezed Rudy, and Rudy just about staying ahead through there. Nathan picks up a penalty. Gary's back in the net lead of this race. It's to-ing and throwing like crazy. Alp's on a mission now to pass Nathan into turn 22. Campbell's now got over a second clear at the front as well. We shouldn't neglect to mention him in this race, although Packer's just put himself back in it. But there's so much going on. Gary's got to be careful on the hard tyres. He's on the cusp of falling back out, and he's practically used all of his ERS already, and he's now going to be vulnerable to his standing teammate Gladbach, who snuck his way through in all of this, as you were saying earlier.
Look at Rudy! Rudy's to the outside line, tries to get the job done. I think he's gone too deep into the corner, tries to get the traction like Alp did last lap around, but he's not going to get the job done from that far back, but he has got very good straight line speed down the straight. Rudy catching the back of Gladbach, Gladbach catching the back of Gary, could be 3 wide and toward turn 1, it might be 3 wide. Rudy backs off, Gladbach just about keeps the car in a straight line as well as Gary came across at him slightly there. Gary there in 5th, Gladbach there in 6th. There's contact down the straight. I think J. Call has had to cut across the line in towards turn 1. He's got right side end plate damage, I think, on the car. He's rejoined the circuit down in 14th, so I'm not sure what happened at the back of the field there, but Campbell leads, Packer second, Nathan in 3rd, out there in 4th. Gladbach though really asking this team out the AlphaTauri man as Car Mentalist is on the back of corner coming to the first sector, and here's Alp on the back of Nathan in towards turn number 13. Doesn't get the job done. Campbell still holds the lead, but those hard runners now for the front 2 now beginning to go off, and Nathan really becoming a little bit of a rolling roadblock, and Alp is just desperate, I think, to try and get past.
You say that, but Nathan's hanging quite close to the back of Packer as well, and Packer himself is still in DRS on Campbell. No one has fallen out of this battle yet. Maledictus, in whatever happened with J. Cole as well, got spun round at turn 1, which is why he's now cut adrift at the back of the field, just to follow up on that one. Gladbach and Gary nearly contacted to turn 22 there. Gary's red light blinking away. It's like waving a red cloth in front of a bull, isn't it, in one of the matadors. And Nathan's going to have a look at the back of Packer, and at the same time Gladbach's going to go around the outside of Gary here towards turn 27. Late on the brakes, and there's contact between the two of them. Again, Gladbach has to concede. Rudy's going to have another look at this, but Gladbach's got the ERS to use on exit.
Rudy's going to get them
power past Gary towards turn 1, and here comes Rudy.
Yeah, Powers in the inside line in towards turn 1. That is the speed difference down the straight. The Williams predictably is quicker than AlphaTauri down the straight line here. Rudy through and he's into 5th. 2 for the price of 1. Buy 1, you get 1 free, quite literally. Campbell leads the way. Packer second, Nathan 3rd. Out there in 4th. Rudy there in 5th. Watch out for him. He is now on that fresh set of mediums as Maledictus has retired into the pit lane. He is on that fresh set of mediums. He is actually the only one on the set of mediums, bar Alp, who's ahead of him, who hasn't got a penalty. So Rudy technically might be in the lead of this race as Yildirim picks up a penalty, and out right on the back of Nathan, hassling in towards turn 13, basically hurrying the Brit to try and just get on with things out on track. I was going to say something else, I'll refrain myself from saying it. Rudy there in 5th as well on the back of Gladbach, but Rudy now can actually use up his pace to get Gladbach on the back, and then it could be a 4-car basically for the race, the net race leaders. Up once again on the back of Nathan coming out of turn 4, out of turn 17.
Yeah, they've had contrasting fortunes, haven't they, Nathan and Gary, since that restart. First and second they were. Pease has spun round had a moment at turn 16, 17. Nathan now looked like he's settled himself down a little bit, and he's instead pursuing Packer towards the last corner. Packer doing a tremendous job, he can't be overstated, and there's Connor on the back of Gary. Gary's day was looking so good, and it's gone from bad to worse, and Rudy and Alp through the last corner, and Alp's got room on the outside here. It's going to be ERS, DRS all the way down towards turn 1. Alp's sitting in Rudy's slipstream. Nathan's slipstream. Can Rudy nab it now? And Rudy is ahead on the medium tyres. Alp was so close, wasn't he, to Nathan for so many laps, and now he's lost that position, and Car Mentalist now passes Gary. What is happening to Gary? I wonder. I said Alp tagged the back of Gary at turn 5, but I wonder if Gary's picked up rear wing damage or something earlier on, because this, I know he's on the hard tyres, but compared to Nathan, this fall down the field is inexplicable.
I think there's more front wing. I think it might be left side end plate damage on the car. If it is, it's a winglet and it's not visible, so it is just affecting the corner and coming through the first sector. Gary there is losing time though, down in 9th position. As you say, might have rear wing damage. I think more likely it's front wing, left side end plate. Of course, he was fighting, I think, with another driver further down the field, which might have caused that little bit of contact. But Campbell leads the way, Packer second, Nathan third, Rudy there in fourth, Alp there in fifth. He's on the back of Rudy, and this could get quite interesting between them both, because Rudy and Alp have had contact in the past in other leagues, which I have commentated on as well. And Rudy now, he looks so quick tonight. He is absolutely blitzed through the field, now on the back of his teammate, now going to go for broke. And do you know what? I think he could complete 2 for 1 and towards turn 27. Here comes Rudy on the back of Nathan to the outside line. Might try and get 1. Wishful thinking to try and get 2. Round the outside and towards turn 27. He'll have the traction. Nathan taps the inside actually on Packer. And now Packer nearly got sent round there. And Nathan, now Rudy is in a bit of a box effect. Campbell leads still. Down in towards turn 1. Packer there in second. Nathan third. But Rudy is drained all of his battery coming across the line. Connor gets the lead on and Gladbach. And goodness me, Rudy nearly into the back of Packer, who defends so early. Now switches to the inside line. Could be 3 wide coming out of turn 1. And now it's actually Alp side by side with Rudy in all of this. Campbell still leads. Nathan in second. Nathan is becoming the ultimate park the bus.
It's like Formula Ford racing, isn't it? It's absolutely bonkers stuff that we're seeing today. And this is Gladbach is on medium tyres in this as well, no penalty. Carmentelis is on medium tyres, no penalty. Nathan's just picked up a second penalty. Campbell and Packer, forget about them. They've got to make another pit stop. They're going to plummet all the way down the back of the field. Gladbach and Carmentelis, Connor, you know, God knows what Rudy could do in this race still after Wild and Austria. But we can't neglect to mention these people as being in a fight for a podium, because they absolutely are, even though they're running in 7th and 8th right now. Even Gilbream in 9th place. The gaps you can see on the left side of the screen, 2 tenths, 3 tenths between everyone. This monumentally close, and Rudy's going to have a go at Pack here towards turn 22. There's no braking zone. He'd be a madman to go for it. He does back out, but he gets a better run, I think, through 22 and 23. He needs to launch himself onto the back of that Alpine. We've got a yellow flag, that's Pease at turn 11, and here comes Rudy now. He's going around the outside of Packer. Packer's got absolutely nothing, even though he's got DRS, and Connor is through on Alp as well. Alp's day was going very well in qualifying. It's not going very well now, and he's now vulnerable to Gladbach. And look at Gilbream and Gary into turn 27. It's absolutely all going on.
Yeah, inside line for Yildirim, got the job done. Gary dropping all the way back, and now Packer's in the pit. So Packer in the pit lane dispatches Connor, who in turn, Alp is now under pressure from Gladbach, and Gladbach now really getting into this race. The AlphaTauri man in 6th position, the German on the back. He's currently in the net 5th, but Nathan obviously still leading the net lead of this race. Campbell still yet to pit in. He, though, what does he do here? He's in the same team as Nathan. Does he let him go? Obviously, in terms of esports side, I'm saying he's not in the same team in terms of the league. But Nathan is struggling in his own right. Rudy is obviously quick, but I've been seeing Rudy the last couple of laps lifting and coasting, especially through the middle sector where he can gain that ERS. And then towards turn 13, he did the same thing as well. And Connor, in the meantime, is running low on fuel as Rudy's made a mistake, as Connor's now on the back of him, coming out of turn 13. Matthias has left the session, and now Pease has retired into the pit lane. So Pease, the 4th one out of this race, and now the 2 Irishmen, Gary and Forza Brendan, nearly going side by side there as well. This race is absolutely mad. Alp now on the back of Connor, Connor on the back of Rudy, Campbell the lead still, Nathan in 2nd, Rudy there in 3rd. Rudy, all of a sudden, has got absolutely 0 pace, but at least he's got a car with no fuel ahead of him.
Campbell had a shocking turn 22, and he's having to use Burn now towards the last corner to defend from Nathan. Nathan getting within 4 tenths. And I'm wondering if Nathan has actually suffered and endured the worst of the tyre situation.
Yildirim trying to go around the outside, Carmentelis coming through. Goodness me, Campbell's into the pits. He comes in towards turn 27, or into the pit lane out of the line. Rudy leads the way, Nathan leads the way. Rudy in 2nd. This race is getting me even confused. Falls to Brendan now down the inside of Gary. The 2 Irishmen not going to be having Guinnesses at the pub, I don't think. And Gary's round, and he collects, I think. Was that Wouter he collected, or J. Cole? One of the 2. Gary is sent round, though, in the AlphaTauri, from bad to worse. And Gary's sent round.
Oh, Forza Brendan has smashed the wall at the inside of turn 4. And that's going to be his race absolutely done.
Yep, damage, I think, left side end plate on the car. Certainly getting out of the way there. Alpha's picked up another penalty. He's on the back of Connor trying to desperately... But look at Rudy's pace. Rudy now is 6/10 of a second clear of Connor, who we thought might actually get a chance of a top 3. I certainly said that. I think it was lap 5. But Connor is struggling on the back of Rudy. Rudy now has got the pace. He's got Nathan in front of him on that sort of hard compound of tyres, and Nathan is actually trying to break that toe. He's now outside of a second Rudy. He's just within DRS range with the detection point coming before that. But Rudy now, 6%. Nathan now needs to go for broke. I think he needs to get him out of DRS range. If that is the case, it's so easy to catch around this track, but if that is the case, Rudy is going to be in DRS range, luckily. Nathan, though, still leading the way. Rudy in second, Connor there in third. Gladbach now on the back of Alp, and this could get quite interesting in towards turn 27. The AlphaTauri on the back of the Mercedes, trying to get the job done. Not quite close enough. Nathan leads, Rudy second, Connor in third. We remain as we are as Wout is through on Verstappen.
What I was going to say a lap ago, because so much has happened before that Gilbrim send on Car Mentalist, actually I'm going to trip myself, because here's Gladbach having a look out towards turn 1. No, it's not going to get that done. What I was saying is, I think with all of that, like, I don't know what you could really call it. It wasn't racing, it was bumper carring for the last 10 laps. I wonder if Nathan's actually endured the worst of the tyre disadvantage he's had on hards compared to mediums. And if we get to the point now where they're on their 11th lap, these medium tyres are going off, Nathan's actually, he's used Campbell and Packer as sort of a backstop to protect him from the mediums, and now he's in a situation where with them gone, he's on the better tyres. The mediums have seen their best days and haven't been able to do too much with it. Nathan, he's got six seconds of penalties, but he might be in a position where for the last 6.5 laps, he's able to kick on a little bit, just if he can break that 1 second window. He needs really to pick up a tiny bit of damage, just to get him out of a second, and I think Nathan will start to pull away then, because I'm absolutely convinced now he's on the better tyres in this race.
Rudy, though, has been lifting and coasting even more. He is now pretty much on the same level, just 2% less than Nathan in terms of his ERS. So Rudy, actually, in terms of that, is now a little bit nullified. But Connor has got 70%. He is not afraid to use it. He's not going to use it now in towards turn 27. But look at Nathan. He looks a sitting duck, maybe, in towards turn 1. He's going to have Rudy on the back of him, Connor on the back of him. They're disposing of Alp quite rapidly as well. And now, coming out of the final corner, Rudy's not going to use up any ERS, but Connor is on the back of Rudy. These two hate each other in towards turn number 1 here in Saudi Arabia. Nathan leads the way. Rudy in second. Connor tries to dive it down the inside line, and actually Nathan, defends off the back of Rudy, who thought was going to go to the inside line there. Now Connor is on the back of Rudy, and now outside of turn number 3, outside of turn number 4, not going to happen. Nathan holds the lead still. Rudy in second, Connor in third. Campbell, if it's any consolation, has got the fastest lap of the race. And to be fair, Campbell, if anything happens, is 16 seconds off the race lead, which is not too bad at all. He's got Gary obviously ahead of him to try and catch, but Campbell will catch these guys. Well, he's not going to catch these guys before the end. That'll just be stupid. But if there's a safety car, he will come back into the race.
Remarkable that Campbell's not really made a mistake in this race, and yet he's outside the points. The fastest lap isn't even going to get him the consolation point. And I'm just trying to look, where's the main attack coming from this race? I think it has to be said he's got to be Connor on the back of Rudy, and those two, you said, don't like each other. But Alp is very close to the back of Connor. The trouble is, they're all just sort of neutralising each other a little bit. Nathan's running low enough wings that I think he's
Jacob Verstappen, side by side, sorry to cut you off. Jacob through, and he's into 9th, getting Verstappen in towards the left-hander of turn 22, and there was a yellow flag out on track, and that is Yulbring Round. Yulbring Round coming out of turn 23. He's avoided the wall, I think. It might have rear wing damage, and here comes Rudy for the race lead on the back of Nathan, in towards turn 27, tries to get the job done, doesn't. Nathan sideways out the corner. This is Rudy's opportunity. He's very low on ERS though, running down the straight, so is Nathan, and look at Connor. Connor now breezing onto the back of these guys. Rudy around the outside gets the job done, into the race lead, and now what was a Williams 1-2 is now a Williams 1-3 as Connor beautifully gets the job done into turn number 1. Great racing here in Saudi Arabia. I'm all for it. Rudy leads the way. Connor in second. Nathan there in third, who tries to come back at him in towards turn number 4. But now it seems that age-old question once again. Do not rule out of this. That 5-second penalty, of course, will get added to his time at the end of the race. But Rudy now trying to set sail out in front, and it's between Rudy and Connor, you would think, for the race win.
Yeah, and Gladbach will take P3, because Alp will get that 5-second remove, because if he doesn't pit again, which I don't think he will from this point on, even as a safety car, but he's got 6 seconds of penalties, so Gladbach and Carmelis will be taking P3 and P4 from this race, so massive shout out to them, because they've had a tremendous performance just by keeping it clean. And what's Connor's gap to Rudy? 6 tenths per second. We'll see that red light blinking from the Williams. It will use that as a big incentive, because Connor has got a lot of ERS to play with, and he might even drag Nathan with him back towards Rudy. Rudy's going to have to, well, he is using everything. He's on 3% as he came towards turn 22, and he's still using I don't think that's a wise idea. I think Rudy should try and save a little bit, even if it's only 10-50%. Alp is coming around the outside of Nathan towards 27, and is he going to get boxed in by Connor here? He has an absolute send on the exit. In fact, I think he's got the minerals on. Oh, Gary's retired from the session. Could that be safety a very late safety car?
It is?
Yes, it is! And Connor flies into the pit lane, nearly smashed into the back off by Nathan. And that was nearly an absolute horror show. That I got 5 licence points for doing something similar. I wasn't pulling across in front of a car, but I swerved into the pit lane when the safety car came out. And for Connor, absolutely should be heavily penalised for that. That was stupidly dangerous from the NSX driver, nearly collected by Nathan. Tell you what though, Campbell, Packer, back in this race.
It does. Campbell is back in this race. Packer as well back in the race. But Connor on that side of soft compounded tyres, you would think, without any penalties, which are inevitably I think going to be coming, because that was just absolutely downright stupid, to be honest. Connor knows better than that. We know he knows better. You guys at home knows better. Cutting across the line, it's desperation if I call it anything else. It is pure desperation. Get in the pit lane. He missed completely the pit lane entry. The safety car, to be fair, came out I think at the DRS line, so Connor had to react quickly. In 99% of 100 times, league racers would probably do that. They'd come into the pit lane, realise that there's a safety car 3 laps before the end of the race, and Connor pretty much challenged every single league racer out there in doing that. But at what cost? That was just downright stupid. It was honestly so dangerous, so reckless abandon, that if he doesn't get a penalty, then honestly, FIA stewards are potentially better than the stewarding team in LOE, and that is saying a lot from the fraud FIA stewards as well in real life. But Rudy leads the way from Nathan in second, and now we're back for Williams 1-2 once again in the front, and out there in third. Gladbach all of a sudden. Are we counting him in or out of this race win? As I think Gladbach is going to have a real opportunity at taking this race win with Nathan Alp's penalties ahead.
I wouldn't count him out. You never know what's going to happen with Rudy. You said Connor was stupid. Not just stupid for the move, but strategically, I don't know why he's done it. He was in a 1v1 with Rudy for the race win, because Nathan and Alp have got unspeakable amounts of penalties. He wasn't going to be overtaken by Gladbach or Car Mentalist. It made no sense. It was just an instant decision. Oh, safety car must pit. I don't know why he did it. Brendan's coming into the pits for another set of soft tyres. I suppose, if you've got the tyres to use, and you know you're going to catch up, you may as well take the freshest set you can. So, it's understandable. I mean, he needs a new front wing. He's hit the wall on his outlap. Fascinating stuff from Brendan. But yeah, Connor, I don't know why he did that. He was in a 1v1 with Rudy. He's now put himself in a 1v7.
Yeah, he's put himself in a 1v7, but Rudy obviously has got Nathan, to be fair, running on no field. Rudy running on no field. They're all going to be around the same level. There is an option that these guys can run out of field towards the end of the race. I've seen it done before around here in commentary, and it is normally from turn 27 onwards. And if that is the case, and if drivers run out of fuel, then it is obviously going to be quite costly towards the end. I think Rudy, as you say, and Nathan were fine. It was Connor, I think, that was very low on fuel. He came in the pit lane for set us off, so he may be, in terms of that, is another thing you can add to his naughty list, if you like. Obviously, with Christmas and Santa Claus and everything coming up, Connor definitely going to be on the naughty list here of the LOE stewards, there in 8th position. But he's on that set of soft compounded tyres. I'm not looking anything past him. He's on the freshest tyres out of everyone out there on track. Theoretically, he should be carving his way through the field, but he's landed himself in such a wall of cars ahead of him that is probably going to be unlikely, but not impossible. And if Connor does win that, obviously, I think what we're going to say is it's going to be taken away potentially at the end of the race because of pit lane entries, which of course is against league racing rules here in LOE. And if you do want to do that and want to channel that in Division 2 or Division 4 later on, don't think of it because they're going to come on you hard. But it is going to be a 2-lap sprint here in Saudi Arabia. Rudy now the virtual Bert Marlander. He's now the virtual safety car. Welcome, everyone, to the wacky races in Saudi Arabia.
And there's going to be no DRS for any of these drivers. We've got a 2-lap sprint here, and the real-life sprint is underway in Brazil. So get all your screens up and get ready to go. 5-second penalty for Nathan for colliding with Rudy. That will get removed, I would assume, toward the end of the session if Rudy's adjusted his speed. Let's see where he goes. If I was Rudy, I wouldn't give Nathan any width of a slipstream towards turn 1. He's taking a very wide line.
Fine.
He's going to set himself up for maximum speed, but he's not wanting to go. He's not wanting to give Nathan the toe. He's gone now. He caught Nathan just on as he was backing off to avoid overtaking him, and Rudy has launched this towards turn 1. I think he's played it beautifully. The two Alfa Romeos are under threat from Packer towards turn 1. In fact, they're going to go at it between themselves. Campbell's going to go up the inside of Verstappen. Is Packer going to follow him through? Not quite.
Connor gets sent on, and he spins as well. He's in the wall. Connor out of the race, pretty much. That removes him. He leaves the session, utter frustration. And that was because...
Packer had a big moment through turn 5 defending from Verstappen and then got caught by Walter. Still side by side. Nathan's out of the race. And he's collided with Gladbach there. And Walter's through on Verstappen. Verstappen's backed right off. Verstappen's got some kind of damage. Something's happened there. It's Rudy from Campbell. Campbell's now second in this race. Car Mentalist is at war with his teammate. And J. Cole's in a sniff of a good result here.
And that was absolute chaos. I did say welcome to the Wacky Races, so I did prepare you, but I wasn't prepared for that. Rudy leads the way from Alp in second. Jav might have put up the nail on the head. Campbell in third is on that sort of medium compounded tyres. He's got more ERS than everyone else ahead of him to burn, or he's got slightly less now coming down the straight, but Rudy leading the way from Alp in second. Campbell there in third towards the top end of the field once again. Very clean restart by all. Commences, I think, had the cleanest restart toward the bottom end of the field. He's up into 5th position after a very electric start from him. He is getting Alpine's potential best result here in Saudi Arabia, but Rudy leads through the final corner. Campbell right on the back of Alp coming out the final corner now. Look at the speed that Campbell has got. Alp is not going to fight this at all. Campbell through and he's into second. Breeze has passed him down the straight. He's got a mountain to climb if he wants to try and get the race win. As now Packer looks at Commenters once again in towards turn 1. That was a mad start to the final lap of the race. Rudy leads the way. Campbell there in second. Alp there in third. Wouter there in fourth. Soft runners are coming into play, but it's going to be too late for them, you would imagine. But Rudy, has he got damage maybe, Rudy? He's struggling through the first sector. Campbell's right on the back of him. Rudy, I think, has got damage potentially here. I think Rudy's got left sole end plate damage.
I think you're right. He's got some kind of damage. His tyres are 16 laps old, but I can't imagine that they're that slow compared to Campbell. And worth noting here, Car Mentalist is going to be on the podium as Wouter is under threat from the Alpine there through turn 13. It's going to be Rudy, Campbell and Car Mentalist on the podium. But in what order? Campbell, Rudy's definitely got damage. He broke so early for turn 16. Either that or his tyres are off a cliff edge.
This is not over and done with yet, ladies and gentlemen. Rudy and Campbell now down the straight. Of course, no DRS enabled, so Campbell has got to do this the old-fashioned Formula 1 old-school way. Rudy leading through turn 22 and 23. Here comes Campbell for a very unlikely race win. Wouter through and he's into third as Alp, I think, has picked up damage on the right side end plate. Campbell now on the back of Rudy, though, chasing him down in towards turn 27. I think Rudy has just about got enough down in towards 27. Campbell sends it down the inside line. The Scotsman takes the lead of the race, and now Wouter's into second. Rudy's run out of fuel.
Rudy's got a puncture. He's got a puncture.
Campbell to the line, takes the win in Saudi Arabia.
Commentalist
second. Commentalist to second.
Commentalist and Packer from absolutely nowhere after that first safety car. We thought they'd messed it up. They finished first and third.
Rear right puncture ball away to Rudy. Good spot there. I didn't see that, but it was a right rear puncture. I wonder if that's why he was going slow through the first sector. He could feel the tyre going, and then it's just gone pop coming through the final corner. Connor is awarded Driver of the Day, awarded by the in-game fans. I don't know how that's been awarded, to be honest. He finished, I think, right down at the back of the field in the end. But Jav, really bold in terms of his prediction. Campbell would win this, and Campbell has indeed won this in Saudi Arabia in an absolutely dramatic Grand Prix. Hop, skips and jumps to the top step of the podium. Campbell is a race winner once again. And do you know what? After the final 2 laps that he got put through there, and after that race he got put through, damn well deserves it.
Does he ever? That was a lesson in never give up or give in from Campbell. He came from obscurity in that race to take a remarkable win, and his first win of the season, it has to be said as well. A couple of second places at Belgium and at Britain, and a third place at Imola under similar circumstances. Actually, he came from 14th in that race, I remember, at one point, to finish third after putting the extreme wet on right at the end. He's come back from similarly improbable odds today, so you can take nothing away from him. But also, you shouldn't take plaudits away from Car Mentalist and Packer. They drove outstanding, clean solid races. They did nothing wrong, and they were duly rewarded.
Duly rewarded indeed. Why have I gone on the race director? Campbell leads. Campbell wins with the fastest lap point as well. The Scotsman takes the win here in Saudi Arabia from Carl Menselis in second, ninth up to second. Great drive from him. Packer there in third. Rudy in the end with that penalty was only 300th of a second off a podium. Not bad at all from Rudy. He drove a really good race. Right there in fifth. Verstappen in sixth. J. Cole seventh. Good drive from him. Forza Brendan eighth. Out with that 11 seconds worth of penalties down to ninth. Gladbach in 10th. Connor, Nathan 11th and 12th. Then Gary, Yilbring, Pease, Maledictus, Dylan and Matthias all DNFing at various points of this race. We are on, by the way, lap 7 I think it is now of the race in the sprint. And I think because the sprint is actually on, I think it's only right that we ended here and let everyone go and watch the F1 sprint.
I won't disagree with you, because it looks like it's actually an entertaining one for once.
It is. Magnussen's actually fighting with Verstappen for the race lead, which is absolutely incredible, given that he's in a Haas, but he is on a set of softs. Verstappen's on a set of mediums. I have just seen that as well. As Newcastle have beaten Chelsea as well in the football.
Not something I need reminding of, thank you. So we'll end the stream there. Thank you for tuning in. Do tune in to Division 2 with Ariel, J. Cole and QVR staff, and Division 4 with QVR Maverick and QVR Packer. But we'll be back here same time next week. I've been QVR Killer. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, Chelsea I don't think is his favourite team right now, to be honest. I think he supports them maybe slightly. Sunderland won, by the way, as well, if you did want to check up on that. Sunderland did win last night. And that ends us off very neatly indeed. Well done to the North East teams for winning. Congratulations on Chelsea to losing, but there we are. We ended off here 2 rounds to go, of course, in the championship. And that is, of course, in our good old favourite track, I believe. I hope it is. I'm going to have a look at the calendar just to prove it. It is Brazil, next week, 19th of November. Normally a season finale track, not the season finale this season. Abu Dhabi there, 26th of November, final round of the championship. It is going to be a very interesting end to the season, with AlphaTauri still not claiming the constructors, with Gladbach finishing 10th, of course, a stand-in tonight for Montana. Gary finished, of course, DNF'd out of the race. He was out of the race and therefore scored no points for AlphaTauri. So therefore, it all becomes a little bit more hazier as we go into the final 2 rounds of the championship. But as Killer said, of course, Division 2 coming up and Division 4 also. I've been James Head, he has been QVR Killer. We're not going to keep you any longer. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, goodbye.